Okay, greetings, brothers and sisters. This is kind of another Hollywood celebrities dropping like flies. We're going to have some Jada update throughout this thing. I don't have these really in order. I just want to get through them. I have so many of these tabs open because of all the backlog, because of doing stuff on the Pakistani thing or the Palestinian thing. um, but I want to get through these things. I want to keep everybody uh, apprised of the Hollywood celebrities dropping like flies stuff. Olympian Mary Lou Retton making remarkable progress. Now, when I originally put this up some time ago, she was fighting for her life. She was battling pneumonia, and she is falling apart physically. She's always had psychological issues, kind of weird. One of my viewers sent this, is all the stuff here where her face has been messed up. Like, this is what Madonna once looked like. And this is what she looks like now. And they have all the various plastic surgery things that have done to mess up her face. Again, it doesn't work. Like, how many times you have to see this happen before you realize it doesn't work? And if it works a little bit, if like one thing works, you do more, right? And that's how they get you. And you end up looking like a monster. Physics professor claims to have found evidence we are living in a virtual reality simulation.
Because you need to consume energy to create information, okay, and to store it. And I came up with something called the information catastrophe. This is 2021 published, I believe, or 2020 published. Every year, we create 10 to the power 21 bits of information, the range, yeah? Our planet has 10 to the power 50 atoms. Everything that makes our planet, from atmosphere to oceans to everything, the biosphere, the everything. It's called information catastrophe for a reason, because the growth rate is about 33% year on year. And we are not deleting any of it. A 20% growth rate, we're going to make more bits of information than all atoms on the planet. At 20%, 340 years. We overtake the atoms on the planet with digital bits. At 50%, 150 years.
Okay, so that doesn't really mean anything about us living in a virtual situation. Maybe he's talking about people now living in the virtual world versus the real world. That's not the same thing, though.
Are we going to reach that point? We can't, because something has to give. You can't. It's just a theoretical endpoint that we are going to hit if we don't do anything. And that is what led me to this simulation hypothesis. If we are making 10 to the power 21 today bits of information, and we've been doing this since 1970s. You look at half a century, okay, of digital technologies, and we already are looking at astronomical numbers, okay? And if all the atoms in the world, on the planet, are just 10 to the power 50, and we are going to reach that number in 150 years at this growth rate or something like that, it makes you wonder. I mean, any normal person will think, could it be that maybe we already are in some kind of digital virtual reality world? Maybe this is all.
Yeah, that's a theory that I believe is true on some level. I mean, material life is a simulation. Material life. Someone wrote me a comment saying, which one of your past lives was in a simulation? Because I say I believe that Earth is a simulation. Well, all of them, dummy, right? I didn't save the comment, but, I mean, that's what it was. It's, they all are. Like, this is a simulation. You have your soul, this is your real life. And you have your avatar, that's your physical body. And when you're here, you feel like you're, this is it, right? You're limited to knowing what's in the spiritual sphere. And all you know about is what's in physical 3D reality, other than when you have when you're sleeping, or you have some metaphysical, spiritual experiences. But it's a simulation. Like, it's a, of course, it's very real. You have your senses, you feel, you taste, you touch, all these things. You see, I mean, these are, and it feels like all this is real, and something etheric, like if you contacted a spirit, would be something, less than that, right? Not as tangible. But we do live in a simulation, whatever that is. But this guy is, I mean, I like that idea. It's an interesting idea that bits of information are exceeding the amount of atoms we have. But, there's something deeper than that. I'm in the editing. I'm editing the video. And I, was watching this yesterday. And his theory, or what he's saying here, is that we are going to exceed the amount of atoms with bits of information. That we have so many atoms in the world, and it's, I guess, a constant. And, it doesn't change. Atoms change, the matter transforms, but the amount of atoms stay the same. Which, I know from the teachings of Saj Marg that all the soul energy on Earth stays the same. There's soul energy, whatever you want to call the etheric energy that manifests life. And if people's souls are liberated, for example, it might reduce the soul energy. If you are free from the having to be connected to this planet, when you can just move on, you're no longer bound to this planet. I'm not sure about that, but I think that changes it a little bit. But other than that, all the plant life that, we need soul energy to manifest plant life and animal life. And so if there's a lot more people, there's a lot less other things, for example, right? The soul energy goes into one thing and not another. And so that's a similar idea here. But in terms of what he's saying is that the amount of information exceeds the amount of atoms. I don't know what he's attributing each bit of information as one atom. I don't know how he's thinking about it. But he's saying, we should be increasing the amount of atoms on the planet. If we're having all this information, we're not. So to him, that's proof of, simulation, virtual reality. I don't know if enough about the, atoms and, that's the type of science to really understand the connection there. But there's a lot of those types of things, and you'll see it where it won't make sense. As science discovers things about the planet, and we expand our ability through computer technology and realizing that it doesn't add up. Like there's more of a, some kind of something else going on here. But anyways, where's a CCP driver shot dead after plowing car in the Chinese consulate in San Francisco and then demanding to where to find the Communist Party? A driver plowed a Honda into the lobby of the Chinese consulate at 3 p.m. Monday. He was apprehended. The attacker was overheard asking, "Where is the CPC?" The CCP. He was shot by cops moments later and rushed to the hospital where he died. Sounds about right. Proud dad doesn't let cancer stop him from escorting daughter as she's crowned homecoming queen. Look at this guy. Like, she's happy. She's got this weekend at Birdie's dad. She's dragging along. Look at this. She's all like, yeah. He's like barely making it, right? He showed up for me. My big day. You can go die now, Dad, from your turbo cancer. Tamara Judge fires back a disgusting theory that Ozempic use led to intestinal obstruction. So apparently, she's a Real Housewives of Orange County. This is Ozempic, right? One Twitter people said, after she had intestinal issues. She's got other issues, you can see from that photo. There she is in the hospital. And, maybe it's not Ozempic, and maybe it's the boop. Car crashes into Federal Way Jack in the Box, bursts into flames.
We're also following more breaking news. Crews are cleaning up after a car slammed into a Jack in the Box, sending the building into flames.
It's a crazy story.
This is a crazy story. Gary?
It happened this morning on Pacific Highway South and Federal Way.
This is Niku Korzari and Gary Horsher from Seattle.
Kira 7's Runji Sinha has been there kind of documenting this whole thing for us now. Runji, that car lodged itself inside. I was concerned there might be a body in that car, but clearly it was empty because they towed it out of there earlier, huh?
They did tow it out, Gary, within the last hour or two, and we're here at South 312th Street and Pacific Highway South. This Jack in the Box had a car slam right into it.
This guy's Ranji Sinja, but they all look like they're not the ethnicity. You know, like that woman had like I think a Japanese name. She didn't look Japanese. This guy has got an Indian name. He only looks maybe slightly Indian.
On the side, I want to show you the damage that was done. That opening.
All right, so this is just happening all the time, and cars are driving into. You know, we saw with Anne Heche, and then just Pete Davidson did it. Now all these other people, and this is a very common thing. People are always sending me this as well because it's happening all over the place. This is.
Oh, sweet Jesus. Oh my God, can you help me? This is going to fall.
Yeah, one
It's
second.
got to be.
The bike will fall as well.
Well, I think the bike is after doing enough damage, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Hold on, hold on. Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, stay there, don't move. I've got to call an ambulance as well.
No, you're alright, don't need none.
My gas box. What the hell did you do?
I was coming out that road too fast and my back brake didn't work.
Christ. You could have killed someone. And could you not stop before you turned the corner before you came through the gates of my door now?
I'm sorry.
You're sorry. And what's your name?
Keith
Keith what?
Rodigan.
What?
Rodigan.
And where do you live, Keith?
Bangor.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh,
This is wonderful. There's another one, right? Guy drove into this woman's house. Amber Heard claimed Momoa dressed like Depp to mess with her on Aquaman 2 set. It said that he came in drunk and dressed like Johnny Depp to psychologically mess with her. I guess maybe he is friends. I don't think it's going to prevent the movie from sucking. She's barely in it. Like she gets locked up and they try to erase her from the movie. She's barely in the movie. First one sucked. Weird.
Here's what's crazy, man. I've been freaking out over the last few weeks, at nighttime. Like at nighttime, I'll be alone and I just start thinking about the future of the world.
So this clip somebody recommended to me or whatever, but Joe Rogan has now finally realized it's over and he's not dealing with it very well. And this other guy that's with him, they're talking about the possibility of, the collapse of the world. Okay, so I've been talking about how animals are just, there's people in there talking about him taking the Twizzlers. Can't play because they're playing that crappy Maroon 5 song. But he's just going in there stealing Twizzlers. If you want to catch raccoons, at first we used to use sardines. Sometimes we'd have to trap raccoons. But I heard somewhere else that they love junk food, and we started using marshmallows. And the sardines worked fine, but marshmallows work great. They can't resist junk food like that. There's a great animated show. There he goes. He got it. Raccoons are just naturally cute and, they just look like criminals.
New York Post wrote an article about us, AJ.
So this Pat McAfee defends paying Aaron Jones others for appearances. So the New York Post tried to do a hit piece on the Pat McAfee show. Okay, I'm into the editing process, and by Aaron Jones, I mean Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Jones was a running back on Aaron Rodgers' former team. I don't know why I made that, whatever. Let's get back to it here. And a few things really stunned me about this. The show used to be valued at $5 million, and now it's valued at $500 million, the business. And he got exclusive. Aaron Rodgers just did interviews with him. And Aaron Rodgers didn't want to receive money at first, but Pat McAfee said that he believed in paying the people because a lot of these podcasts and other, whatever they're doing here, they'll give people a plane ticket and like a $50 voucher at a hotel or something, right? But he's actually paying Aaron Rodgers substantial amount of money, and then other people who have helped his show grow. And he was talking about how the New York Post was trying to make him look bad, but he said that he's, his business model is of sharing revenue, and like he said, Aaron Rodgers didn't even want to get paid. But I was surprised at his show. Like, this is kind of an alternative show where Aaron Rodgers, this is where Aaron Rodgers talked about Travis Kelce being Mr. Pfizer, right? It's not a truther show, but, it is truther adjacent. This celebrity uses breast milk for his morning coffee. I mean, it's the format, right? This format where it's, ESPN now has a contract with them because of its format's working. Getting back to this thing. Apparently breast milk is being used, as a commodity. This was about, this woman found a guy who was, let's let her say his thing here.
He has a card from the government, from the UN, and it got topped up every month. And
so the music is, so the guy was, somebody who was like a foreigner, like an illegal immigrant or something. And he was getting $3,000 a month. And she took a shot of his card and found out it's a UMMCA military government. And this is unspecified minor military construction. And these guys were coming in who are, not American citizens and receiving these cards and being paid. And she thought the guy looked like a soldier. And that there's these soldiers being paid through this. This is, money that isn't really accounted for, right? These secret military construction stuff. And so that they're bringing in foreign soldiers. That's what she speculated. I don't know if there's any truth to that. But they have this thing here, unspecified minor construction. It's a whole thing here. And it's money that they can give out there that isn't being tracked. Suzanne Summerstreet's company, step-by-step actress, dead at 76. Gavin Newsom signs law to permanently ban watering grass at certain California businesses. Sounds about right. Okay, so we got some more stuff on my other toolbar about Jada. Jada Smith credits son Jaden with introducing her to psychedelics that stopped her from executingly thoroughly planned out suicide attempt. She's just going off here.
When I turned 40, I hit a huge wall. I mean, just a massive amount of depression. While I was living a life, I was really living the dream, and so people knew around me that I was very unhappy. They couldn't really figure out why. I was so miserable. I was in so much pain, and I couldn't figure a way out besides death. And so I started looking for places, cliffs where I could have an accident. Because I never wanted suicide. I didn't want my kids to think that their mother had committed suicide. So I spent time doing that, and then once I had a plan, I felt more at ease to just go, okay, I got a plan now. I mean, as morbid as that might sound, once I had a plan, I felt like that was something to hang on to, right? He doesn't.
She's just so screwed up, right? She's just so messed up. It goes on from there. Like I said, bunch more stuff. She's just destroyed Will's reputation, which is already on the, she just throwing him under the bus left and right. He is bad. And she's trying to, get from under this thing like it's all him, or, it's like she was okay or whatever. It's pretty bad. Military settles $1.8 million COVID lawsuit with U.S. troops. The United States military agreed to a $1.8 million settlement for 2 lawsuits that were filed against the military as a result of COVID for U.S. military service during the pandemic. I don't know if that's true or not. It's this American military news. Seems like not that much money. Hollywood reputation experts say Jada Pinkett and Will Smith have destroyed their image with diluted lies about their marriage, and Warren Sham has made them look self-absorbed and out of touch. Well, they've been looking like that for years. I mean, it's just gotten from bad for worse. It's gone from bad to worse. Like I said, there's some more. I got some more headlines to get into. I can't remember all the stuff, but it's on my other toolbar. Jada Pinkett Smith confronts Will Smith gay rumors and more bombshell from NBC news special. And so you got to go all the way down here. They really milked this article. But it was pair's marriage has been subject of many rumors, including whether they're open marriage, swingers, or one of them is gay. I would say that none of that's true. I definitely can use. I can definitely understand why there would be misunderstanding, but none of it's true. So she's not willing to out Will and whatever's going on there, but he did have that relationship with his pal there, his buddy, amongst other things, right? So, but she's like, I understand why people think that way. Jada Pinkett Smith was shocked Will Smith called her his wife after slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars. Like, she is just annihilating this guy. I mean, he is just taking it on the chin, right? Chris Rock's Netflix special was brutal. And now there's this. Like, it's imploded over there. He's just always been so weird, like insecure, self-conscious, his fake laugh. He's got a lot of messed up personality characteristics. Jada Pinkett Smith slams soulmate Tupac Shakur also had alopecia. Jada Pinkett Smith had a lot in common with her late soulmate Tupac Shakur. I don't think Tupac ever talked about the alopecia he suffered. So there's all that. But calling him his soulmate, right? And he was definitely, bisexual or something, which we've covered in other videos. So that's how she likes him. Jada Pinkett Smith reveals why she and estranged husband will never sign a prenup. Well, like, he made a lot more money. Like, I don't know if she was not very successful. And so, like, there's whatever she made, she would have been rich. She made probably some millions of dollars, but nothing like what Will Smith did. Says here she was worth $50 million. He was worth $350 million. Everything about this. Now, Will Smith sucks, and I've documented that a lot. But she seems to be like a life-sucking zombie who's finally selling him out, which she was planning to do all along, right? Jada Pinkett Smith opens up about a friendship with soulmate Tupac Shakur. It was like God made us that way. She's looking very dudish here herself. So, again, this is it for the Smiths. Right? You can't put all this stuff back in the bottle. Trevor Bows' 27-minute phone call with accuser Lindsey Hill. Now, this is weird. Now, he was a former Major League Baseball player, and this is like a week ago. I mean, I've had these things up since, the Israeli thing just took over with everything. But he's talking to her, and she's like, do you remember, like, punching me or whatever, like when they were being intimate together? And he said, yeah, you kept on asking me to do that. She goes, well, were you concerned? Because, I was coming in and out of consciousness. And he goes, well, you were kind of leading the way. I was a little bit uncomfortable with it. Like, that's their conversation. They're mutually suing each other. Here's the guy here. But there she is. And so, like, this bizarre stuff going on there. Gwyneth Paltrow uses her Oscar as doorstep. It works perfectly. Yeah, nobody believes that, Gwyneth. Right? She talked about how she didn't need to get married because she had their big night when she won her Oscar. NFL player Sergio Brown arrested facing murder charges after mother's death. He was the guy who kept on saying it was fake news while he was on vacation. about his mom, and now he's in jail. This was this girl here.
Really try to not look at the really mean things online the best that I can, because it really saves my mental health by not looking at it. But there's some things that like come up in my comments that I can't not see, and there's been a ridiculous amount lately of just like the body shaming and saying things I already know. Like, I don't need to hear it again. So like,
you know, I'm not in favor of these types of comments. I've talked about this before. You know, people, I mean, it's one of the worst things that you see about human beings who may or may not say things to people's faces, like maybe when they're angry, but they wouldn't come up and say something to a stranger that they say online, right? You know, this is a huge problem, just in terms of how embarrassingly bad people are. It's bad. But, you know, as a person who's out there, you just got to understand that's what happens. And you don't make it better by doing what she's about to do here. I'm in the editing process. I just want to add something to what I was saying. There is a disturbing amount of people wanting to tell other people they suck on the internet. What people call trolling behaviors. You know, what I do here, I mock people, I make fun of them. But I'm not trying to hurt their feelings. Like, it's not me going to them and saying the things that I'm saying here. You know, I'm making fun of the American culture and all of it. The Hollywood celebrity culture, politics, and how it's demonic and going in the wrong direction. I'm documenting it in a humorous way. And it's funny. Like, what I'm seeing here is funny. But I don't go to those people personally and tell them they suck, right? Because there's nothing good about that. Like, it's not a positive thing. You know, when you go to somebody's comment section or something on social media and you tell them they suck anonymously in some, you know, anonymous form, you know, you're not doing it because you want them to do better, right? You're not doing it to, help them. You're not helping them in some way. You just want to spit your poison out on them. You suck, you have negative energy, and you want to spit it out on somebody else. You want to hurt them in some way. You know, you're just doing it to hurt them. And there's so much of the internet, it's disturbing. Human beings wanting to hurt other people in some psychological way. You know, cyberbully them, cyberstalk them. You see this with groups of people who go and try to psychologically torment somebody because they just disagree with their beliefs. And it's a disturbing amount in the truth community where people are just trying to figure things out, like the sincere ones. And people post content or not, you agree with it or you don't. And people like flip out because you believe something they don't, you know, and they accuse you of being a shill or whatever it might be. Those things. And it speaks badly for humanity because it's like not good destructive energy. Like, there's positive destructive energy that, you know, there's creation, preservation, and destruction in everything. You have something where it's created, it has to be maintained, it has to be preserved, and then eventually it's destroyed, and there's a flow to it. And destruction is positive when it's, you know, positive. But when people are just trying to destroy other people because they're whatever, it shows really a demented level of human consciousness. And, you know, going to this girl and telling her she's fat in some way, you know, like, I mean, why would you do that, right? Like, you know, there's the other element now where people saying obesity is healthy and those things, and that's not good. Because, you know, being overweight, especially when you're hitting the obese range, there's health issues. So, you know, it shouldn't be something that's celebrated. I mean, people have their issues, whatever it is. Sometimes it's beyond their control. It can be glandular, their metabolism, whatever it might be. Like, they're, you know, they do whatever they can. They're dieting. They're trying to figure out a way to lose weight. They're exercising, and they just can't. There's people like that, lots of them. And just the diet that's out there, they're limited to understanding. You know, people just don't have the ability to figure out what they're eating is poisonous, carcinogenic, and, you know, all these things, heart disease creating and all the rest of it. But just lashing out at her and telling she's fat because you want to zap somebody, you know, it's just like, I mean, this is what we've become, right? It's not a good look. Anyways.
Like saying things like, it's like how much bigger I got and how much weight I've gained and how unhealthy I look and whatever it is. It's really, it's very, very hard.
She kind of fake cries here. So here's the other part where she does this behavior, and then all these people say, no, you're not overweight, and you're beautiful, all these things. Where she'll get all these people being sympathetic, right? Like, it's just so, like, the internet is so bad, like, just psychologically depraved and desperate people doing desperate things, thinking that they're going to somehow get fed by the internet. Like, it's just so bad, right?
It's really hard to see this every single day. And, like, it's really not fair to just see really mean things. Like, I'm taking care of myself the best I can. And I really am asking the people, even if you don't like me or follow me out of a hate follow, to just...
A hate follow. Like, that's another effed up thing. There's hate follows. Like, people follow people that they hate, right? Just to hate on them. Like, that's the thing, right? That's behavior that human beings find acceptable. And, the anonymous, the anonymity, the cowardice behind being anonymous, right?
Stop commenting on my body. You can comment about my character or whatever you think of me as a person, or I'm annoying or whatever it is. But please just stop commenting on my body, because
How did this person get a big social media following? Former Miss World contestant Shiki Demaras dead at 26. One of the most beautiful women in the world. Cervical cancer. Turbo cancer. Seth Rogen's wife, Lauren Miller, reveals hospitalization for brain aneurysm. Another bloop kind of situation going on here. I didn't know Seth Rogen was married, and there they are together. There they are. She looked pretty ghoulish back then as well. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift hold hands in first PDA photos since Whirlwind Romance. These kids are going to make it. These crazy kids are going to make it. They roll these things out, right? Like, the holding hands is the first thing, and then there'll be a picture of their first kiss, and this is how they do fake relationships. They stage it. Like, they do this somewhere where they know there'll be paparazzi. Like, it's so bad. Few things here. This segue to Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift into Will Smith's and Jada Pinkett Smith's long-term fake relationship. There's a great meme, and I lost it. Somebody sent it to me, and I'm going to put it in the title of the video. But Jada Smith reveals she's actually never met Will Smith, right? Now, there's a few things about this. That's a great meme, by the way. And that's kind of what's going on here. Like, she's just throwing everything under the bus. But, her revelation, and this is like a celebrity version of being a truther, and she's so into her process and what's going on internally and all the, relationship and social dynamics and unpacking things and all the psychological new age speak. Their family perpetrated a fraud. Their kids are out there on social media, and they have careers as entertainers. And their family perpetrated this fraud. Like, they all knew that there was a divorce there. And she said it's because she didn't want to break her promise that she would never get divorced, which is weird. Because, they were divorced within a marriage. They had separate lives. And everybody knew it. There were rumors about it. There were some tabloid things. But the media just allowed this to go on. Even so, like, one of the biggest stories was, when was it, 2022, the Chris Rock slap at the Oscars. Like, that was the biggest Oscar moment ever. Like, in terms of, the mainstream media covering it, as well as, all the stuff on the internet. And it turns out it was complete BS, because they weren't even in a relationship or married, like, for years. And Will Smith was so offended that Chris Rock was making fun of his fake wife. Like, like, what was that, right? And they all knew it. Like, they knew. People in Hollywood knew, right? People knew about this for years. There's rumors about Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith being gay and all these things. And so, open marriage, I mean, this has been around. There was an affair that was revealed, and the media just helped to perpetrate these lies, as did their kids and their family. And now she's coming out and, like, telling the truth, like it's some big reveal. but it was, all of us that they were lying to. And the thing with Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift and all these fake Hollywood relationships, arranged relationships, and the media feasts off these things, and so they don't tell you the truth. They know, like it's been exposed that there are these arranged relationships, just like there used to be arranged marriages within the aristocracy, the royal family. I mean, all the stuff with the royal family, I even think with Harry and Meghan Markle's, all those things are there to create a narrative. And there's always the loser, the dummy, Prince Andrew, the Prince Charles for a while. There's always the dope, just like with a vice president. Like when Joe Biden was a dope, so Barack Obama would be considered brilliant, right? They have a kind of a straight man, a shill in there who's out there, just making the Ed McMahon type of situation. They, all these things are performative. Like they know how people's psychological makeup works. They know what people are interested in. They just perpetrate these lies. And the fact that the media doesn't call BS on this with the whole Taylor Swift thing and all of it. Like if they're willing to perpetrate those lies just for human interest and clicks, well, what would they lie to you about, right? Then the whole thing's fake. Like if they'll allow this fake stuff to go and slide as so-called journalists. Of course, we don't need this, and we know this already, the truth community. But it shows you the level of they're willing to just, pretend they don't see something being fake and they don't call BS on anything. They would allow Jada Smith to come out here and not slam her for the years of perpetrating this fraud that they all knew about, right? This is not new, anything new to them. And like she's just destroying Will Smith, like she's making herself look better than him. Like why was he in it, right? Why did he go along with this? Why would he say it's time to get divorced? They were not. I mean, had birthday parties that they were showing on YouTube, and Jada Pinkett Smith came out with just a sour, like it was Jaden's 18th birthday. It was like a big one, and he was doing a whole thing, and Jaden was hanging out with his friends, and he made them come over, and Will Smith did a whole MC thing, was talking about, his wife and these things. I mean, you can see it's on YouTube. I covered it. I don't want to go back and do it again because I've been covering this for years. Like I knew about this. I covered Ellen, Tom Hanks, and Will Smith were some of the first celebrities I covered because I realized the good guy narrative. Like those were people who had the positive, they're trustworthy. Will Smith, likable. Tom Hanks and Ellen, and they all crumbled. And I covered them years ago saying these people are not what they, are being presented as. And it speaks to Hollywood, the fraudulent aspect of Hollywood, because if they create people who everybody trusts, and then those people are horrible people and are, complete shills, then, what does that do for humanity? It's a big truther thing, even though people think that Hollywood celebrity stuff isn't important. It is. Because more people are influenced by celebrities than they are influenced by the news or any kind of serious thing, right? The news is nothing because nobody watches it. But people worship celebrities and live vicariously through them. So I covered all the collapses of these three, giant, celebrity icons and their fraudulent narratives. And, this is coming around. And I mean, I've been covering this for 5-6 years, and I'm over it for years ago. But, you already knew what was going to happen, something like this. You could see it in the videos. Like Jada just glared at Will all the time, but she hated him. She hates him. It's not that she just doesn't want, being in a forced relationship and whatever. And he's just really annoying. So he had these birthday parties, and he would just be the MC, and he was always louder than everybody else. And he has to sort of command the room, and he's so insecure and so fearful and just, it's transparent, right? And I showed you in that, if you see the video on my other channel, they covered this, where I did this extensive compilation of all these behaviors. And, the guy's just, he's probably always on she's suicidal. He probably is as well. Think about that, right? They were kind of the number one Hollywood celebrity couple, one of the top ones. And it was all fake, and they were both miserable, right? With all that success, it shows you everything I talk about here. That being rich and famous is actually a bad thing. Most of the rich and famous people, with all their privileges and all the things that people crave and want, They're oftentimes suicidal. They're oftentimes on drugs. Jamie Lee Curtis, she was waiting for Vica clock, right, on Vicodin, and all these people come out and they say, yeah, they're in mental institutions. They have to get reprogrammed. They're all addicted, and they all have twisted, weird. They get into weird stuff, right? They get into perverted stuff because there's nowhere to go but there. Like that's how deviant on the Madonna Madam Expiration Date in her face, all these things. I mean, it's just in her everything, the ghoulish nature of it, and it doesn't work. Like it's hollow. It's a false god. Anyway, only spirituality will save this world. It's Paul Romano, definitely pointing from the Apocalypse and the Ascension. Everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.